cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife, cold at the touch, leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white. Just let me go, it's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. Just let me go, it's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white. Black and white.
Hello everyone, we are back. We're back for Season 2 of the Dynamixx Simracersworld NASCAR Series. My name is Hasse Rømer and I'm here with Jack Oliphant as usual, as always. And we're back screaming, laughing and prayers and all at the Texas Motor Speedway for the opening round of what turned out to be a fantastic show last season. All the way to the wire it went. And Jack, I take it that your expectations are quite high for this season to come.
Through the roof, because not only have we got a lot of returning candidates for the championship in the Winter Series and the opening series that we had, that was a pokey six-round league, really, compared to the massive 10 rounds that we've got coming your way. It was a bit of a taster in the last couple of weeks just before Christmas, but now this time we've got 10 tasty-looking rounds. And we're going to some of the best oval circuits you can ask for. A lot of the old favourites from last round as well, but we're going to the likes of Michigan as well, Atlanta, and obviously a big one that we didn't go to last time, I'm sure will be top of everyone's list to go to, Talladega. We're there next week, in fact, Hasse. That one's going to be absolutely cracking.
Absolutely, but first, we've got a race to get sorted here tonight, and we've got 36 drivers lining up for Season 2 of this series, and we have an all-new graphics overlay courtesy of the lads at SDK Gaming Software, perfected by the wizard himself, Chas Draycott. And we are, of course, sponsored by the ever-wonderful Dynamixx Race Simulators of Belgium, the title sponsors of our series, to whom we owe and thanks quite a lot. And speaking of thanks, let's get to it in thanking the Lord above for the second season of oval racing here on Simracersworld TV. Where would we be without on these dark and stormy Monday nights of January, where light seems to fade and we need something to guide us through. That something is here. Second season is upon us. Thank you, Lord, for these Fords, these Chevys, and these Toyotas that bring their thundering V8s to track. And thank you all for joining us in a big amen to get the season started with. And with that, I think we're going closer and closer to qualifying. Actually, we are in the middle of qualifying. Here's Bart DeFuss, Jacko, a driver who showed quite a lot of promise in the opening season last season, but who also ran into, let's say, a number of difficulties, just like his teammate Brian Harris. And he'll be hoping for just that little bit extra this season, won't he?
He's never a driver you get bored of watching, put it that way. Bart DeVos, as you said, he always shows really good pace, but as you said, also, he seems to always end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I mean, to be fair, in oval racing, back in the early days of even last season, you know, everyone was pretty much brand new to it, and this is still classified as a sort of an amateur league, so anybody can just jump into it and try and learn and get involved as well. So that does spark off little incidents here and there. And to be, you know, I think anybody who watched the series last time will attest that there was an awful lot of incidents, as Peter Jan Claessens just if that was intentional, that is top dollar. I think he's doing this with the camera. He goes straight into the wall, though. I could be wrong.
A newcomer to the series is Peter Jan Claessens, and he is also, I believe, last to finish in qualifying as the session ticks over, and we shall go immediately to the grid order with Tim Perry, 28.751 in front of Bart DeFuss, so a very good qualifying for himself in the number 6 car for Drive Sim Solutions Volante. It's a new team name for him. Paul Gosling in 3rd with Bud Boland in 4th, then Sergio Hernandez, Steve Klaes, Peter Jan Claessens, Steven de Wolf, Frederick van Eekhoven is in 9th position for Team Down Under, and Robert Lundgren, the Swede, for Boosted Motorsport, rounds off the top 10 in front of Kenzie Newhoff, Hendrik de Grave, and I shall take you to the next place, the next page. There it is. I haven't been broadcasting, by the way, since, what is that by now? Mid-December, so I'll be taking a little getting into it as well. Anyway, Matty Sufi in 13th place in front of Greg Franks, then Adam Wright in 15th with John Barnes in the 777 machine for Quantum Racing. Arisejas for Argentina in the... And look at this team name, very interesting. This is kind of a wordplay. Is it Ramones? Is it Ram Ones? Or might I add the third option of being the Ramones? I'm sorry, I don't know.
I pray it's that one.
Fernando Lopez in 18th place, teammate as well. Then Jochen Lennart, the big boss, in 19th place. Johan Osorio leaving up the big. Kurt van Hornacker, Philip Russell in 23rd, and Ryan Walker in the 555. And just down by about 0.2 of a second. We know gaps are small in NASCAR, but that is a very small gap indeed. John Tusting in the 999 in 25th place in front of Stuart Musselwhite, I'm sorry. I want to get that out my mouth. Thijs van den Bergen, Kim Behait, and then a newcomer, I think that is Jürgen van der Perre. Yes, it is indeed newcomer in Bell Speed NASCAR. Lucas de Belder in 13th. Manolo Rock, that is a rock and roll name if ever I've heard one. Bram van Hoefden, the big boss, Ian Roots in 33rd position, and Yves Fredericks in 34th, rounding off the field.
What a grid we've got lined up here. 34 cars, Hasse. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to get past turn 1. I'm touching all the pieces of wood and all that sort of thing that I can see, because last time it was a bit hit and miss, and obviously the first round of the season, everyone's allowed a little bit of leeway, I would say, but with any luck, they'll all give each other racing room. We got a 1 lap of a warming up to do now, just behind the pace car, not a safety car, remember that one, with Tim Perry at the top of the timing order. And that's very interesting, because Sergio Hernandez obviously was the winner of the season last time out. He's all the way down in 5th place. Bart DeVos is in 2nd, as you said, so expect him to be challenging for the lead early on.
Yeah, but more so the Team Down Under cars even further back there. Mind you, this is a fixed setup series, so they'll all be in the same boat, so to say. And a single fast repair, Lucky Dog is on, of course, a rolling start. And you know, Daytona USA stands my heart near. The old arcade game, that is. Finally got a chance to sing a bit for you all as well. As the pace car rolls in, and Season 2, can you tell I'm excited? It gets underway, Tim Perry floors it. And we've got a thundering horde of beasts coming down towards turn 1 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Paul Gosling going for the early move there on Bart DeVos. He's followed by the champion for Lucky Dogs in the 19 car. That's Sergio Hernandez moving very quickly up into 3rd place. Storming start from the champion. Look at that, and already gaps are appearing. Clean start so far, it seems, with everybody getting nicely off the line. And we are racing.
We are indeed, yeah, a little bit of a puff of smoke there. I think someone has got a little bit loose in the rear end just ahead of this little battle, but it doesn't seem to have caused any big problems. They are falling down the order, though. I'm trying to just keep an eye out who that is. It's the 477 car, Frederick van Eekhoven, who we're on board with now, in fact. So let's have a look at how everybody seems to be quite content with making it around the first lap. Touch wood, as I said, we are on to lap 2 already, so we have managed to do an entire lap without the pace car coming out, and it's still Tim Perry in the lead. Sergio Hernandez made his way up from 5th up to 3rd, and you can see a whole host of battling side by side. But this is Daytona. Expect them to go 2, 3, even 4 wide in some positions. Normally ends in tears, though.
Daytona? Well, we're in Texas. But
Sorry, Texas. My bad. I was watching the Daytona stream 5 minutes ago. Oh, my bad.
Well, wishful thinking it might be, but it looks very good from the start here. Tim Perry for Boosted Motorsports in the 22 car, looking fresh as ever. A very nice paint job. And let me just take a short moment here at the beginning of the race to say that we've listened to your feedback, and we will be trying to delve a little further, a little closer into the incidents that we will inevitably have over the course of this season, and try to take a little bit more of an analytical approach, try to show you a little more. And you know what? I've never heard of a Oh my word. So, speaking of the curse of the commentator, we have the first caution period of this season, basically. Let's see. I think it's a little further down. Oh, it all seems to be going wrong. And that is actually quite a big one. Oh, that's a flying car. And a lot of cars collected in that shunt.
Yeah, I think that Lundgren we saw just tapping the outside of the wall, and is that the thing that sparked it all off, or was there something before? But unfortunately, two cars, the 87 as well, ends up flying into the middle of the road, and that causes it's Hendrik de Graaf in the 87. The one looks with Philip Russell's on his head. So there is a little bit to dissect here, and we have got a couple of laps to do with it. So let's see if we can break it down a little bit for everyone.
Yeah, let's see if I can just recall that from a little earlier. Speed it down. So on the right-hand side, let's have to see what caused that contact. That is the 86 car, I believe. Jochen Lennartz tries to slow down. Philip Russell doesn't manage to do so. He hits the back of that car, and that really just makes everything all the worse. And that is quite the incident indeed, it has to be said.
Yeah, involving Philip Russell as well, who's in one of the Team Fordzilla cars, new to the championship Fordzilla, obviously not new to sim racing in the slightest. But
look at that. That is where it's at. I'll just recall that, and then we'll get it in slow motion. Look at that. Hendrik de Graaf just touches the wall. He collects the 777 Quantum car, and I'll tell you, the boosted 48 machine, very lucky not to get caught up. And look at Jochen Lennartz in the 65 there, collecting the 77 as well. Oh, and that's how it goes. That is how it goes. And the car behind, if you're right behind an incident like this, you have absolutely no chance of avoiding it. These cars don't have ABS. Look at the 7.7 Fordzilla machine there. We saw it before on board. We got a little bit of a better view this time around. He's absolutely airborne there. And this is a big one indeed. A lot of fast repairs are going to be handed off here very early days indeed.
Yeah, they are, but it's still Tim Perry in the lead of the race. As I said, Sergio Hernandez has made his way up from 5th up to 2nd. Within the first lap he did that, so Sergio clearly showing that the qualifying pace maybe wasn't as representative. But it was all very, very close at the end of the day. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're talking about thousandths of a second, aren't we? Bart de Vos slipping down 1 position to 3rd, Paul Gosling 1 position down to 4th, and Bod Boland slipping down 1 position as well to 5th place. And as I said, there's a whole host of cars that were involved in that incident, all the way from 26 down to 34. Johan Osorio, Stuart Musselwhite, Vandenberg, Van Honecker, Philip Russell, Hendrik de Graaf, John Barnes, Kim Behate, and leaving up the beak as well. So there was a lot of cars basically in that crash. You could see that though, to be fair, on the replay.
Yeah, indeed, it was just that off to get us going. Indeed, still lights on the pace car, and as you can see, the drivers are waiting with forming up behind it in that double file formation that we'll have for the restart.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to point our lovely viewers the way of our sponsor as well, because obviously Dynamixx, like Hasse said before, we can't do it without them. And to be fair, their link is in the description. So if you fancy clicking down there, maybe looking for something to upgrade your sim, I believe they do a whole host of other things. I remember them going on there and them doing paintball at one point as well. So if you want to shoot down to the description, have a look around while we're under pace car conditions, and give them a shout out as well in the comments if you fancy it, because obviously they're providing us with a fantastic opportunity to watch some brilliant racing on a Monday night.
It has to be said that from Hendrik de Graaf there, the Flemish car, seems like an unprovoked error. It might be a little critical of me to say it's easy to make, and the wall is right there. But just to say that there wasn't really anything putting him in the wall, which is often the case. And even though the first season of this Dynamixx Simracersworld NASCAR, well, the Winter Series and the opening series as well, was labeled a rookie series, I think the standards turned out to be quite high indeed, given that it is quite difficult to get this number of cars around such a, let's say, a compact space it is on these ovals. Anyway, lights are out, and I'll hand you over to Jacko for the race restart.
Yeah, Sergio Hernandez hoping to be able to convert this 2nd place to a 1st position if he can stick with Tim Perry, who obviously will have the advantage of being able to time when he puts the power down. He's currently following the pace cars. They've all lined up 2 by 2, but as the pace car bleeds into the pits, it's going to be Tim Perry to restart the race. And by the looks of it, he's holding off, and there we go. He can hit the power. You see the back end dip down. Sergio Hernandez goes to the inside to cover off Bart DeVos and maybe get into the slipstream of Tim Perry. Perry made a good start here. Paul Gosling trying to go around the outside of Bart DeVos, but I think actually, to be fair, it's Peter Jan Clayens and Steve Clays who's actually the closest to in that front pack. Jochen Lennertz in 17th here, side by side with Jurgen van der Peer. And they're still going 2 by 2 in the background, but this is Sergio Hernandez going for the inside against Tim Perry. He's got that move done. Bart DeVos potentially trying to follow through as well. They're going to be side by side as they come across the line. Yet again, Tim Perry has lost out here, but he's certainly going to be there to maybe make an attack later on in this race. He's got a good pace, Tim. Sergio Hernandez isn't going to have this all his own way.
No, it seems the competition has woken up to it, but the fixed setup means that the cream will rise to the top. This is what we're seeing yet again here. Sergio Hernandez, fantastic display, moving from 5th to 3rd within the space of a few meters of the start there. Steven de Wolf in the 76 for Dynamixx Racing. He's on the inside of the 99. I think that's Frederick van Eekhoven trying to get involved there as well. Might go 3 wide, but I think Frederick's thinking better of it. And mind you, there is a 30 incident limit before you get to drive through in these races, so you'll have to be mindful of, I mean, at least the 4Xs you pick up, of course, the incident counter is a little more lenient for the ovals. Anyway, first bit of lap traffic, I believe, is finding his way to the outside there, and I think Tim Perry is using it to shield from Bart DeVos and further down. Steve Kleiss is trying to hunt down Bud Boland. And Paul Gosling, who's immediately in front there. And then and there he is, Steve Kleiss, in the number 3. And I wanted to point that out. This was the M&M's car last season. And I must admit, I'm not a fan of Skittles in the same way I'm a fan of M&M's Peanuts. So this doesn't really tickle my fancy in the same way. But it's a good-looking car nonetheless. Plenty of the down under cars there. You can see the 62 of Kenzie Newhoff right in behind. They did very, very well for themselves, didn't they, last season, Jagger?
They did, yeah, Team Down Under. They actually had the championship in their grasp for quite a lot of the final round at Daytona, but Sergio Hernandez, who actually got spun off 2 or 3 times in the finale, he actually powered back through to end up finishing in 3rd place and taking the championship. It was in the hands of the likes of the Team Down Under boys, but it wasn't to be. You can see Kenzie Newhoff, though, fighting with the Skittles car. He's hoping to maybe knock a few of them, maybe not out of the way, but knock a few places up the order if he can. Sergio Hernandez is still in the lead, but it's only by meters. Tim Perry is really pushing him hard now. It looked like he was going to get a bit of a gap, Sergio, but it's not the case. He's got it into the slipstream as Tim, and he's going to try and carry on, but there's a bit of a replay here for Adam Wright. Oh, a bit of an incident there.
Oh, Adam Wright, Team Down Under, the 27 car. I'll tell you what, impressive holding there. I'm afraid crossing over into the pits, that might collect him a penalty as well. And with no incident being reported in terms of at least cautions, look at that. Just let's see what happens. So the 76 gets out of shape, collects Adam Wright, who doesn't really have time to react. And he takes a big trip across the infield grass, but he manages to keep it under control, which is fair on him. That's very well done indeed. He comes in now, though. I think that might be to serve a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which would be harsh, but understandable. Back to the head of affairs here. Sergio Hernandez still under pressure from Tim Perry and Bart DeVos.
He is indeed. I think that was Steven de Wolf who was involved. He was the one that touched the outside of the wall, unfortunately, and that ended up, as you say, with the driver having to come into the pits. But like you said, we're back to the front of the field, and to be fair, it looks like a 3-way battle, but I don't think we can rule out Paul Gosling here. He is in 4th place, and he's hunkered right up the back. There we go. We can't rule him out because he is already right there. I think this is actually going to go all the way back to potentially Matthew Sufi. We could have a 9-way battle for the lead, which is everything we wanted over racing, isn't it, Hasse? We weren't oval connoisseurs at the beginning of the first series, but we are slowly getting into it. Well, slowly sort of getting more knowledgeable, but we're certainly getting very excited about it. It's hooked us in, hasn't it?
Yeah, indeed. It's been great getting to know oval racing a little better over the course of the first season. I feel we're a little better prepared for what's to come here on display on season 2, and I'm indeed excited about it. I think there's a move there for 3rd place as Paul Gosling moves up the inside. Oh, and we've had a problem here, I'm afraid, for Ryan Walker. Oh, and that's just trying to avoid. Oh, he gets collected by the 46. Oh, and launched into the infield. Big incident for Ryan Walker, who obviously is not going to be liking that for one moment. Look at that. A little bit of a collection of the wall. I think that is the 46 boosted car. I think that's the car of Robert Lundgren. Is it? He's in the 48.
Sure, Ian Roots, that is actually. It's Ian Roots in the Simracersworld esports car, the number 46. And yeah, Ryan Walker ends up getting collected through no fault of his own, ends up in the infield. But at least he can go and have a burger and a beer with the lads.
Yeah, but fault's mine in that situation wasn't the 46, it was the 48 of Robert Lundgren in that situation. So very unlucky indeed. And not a caution on that situation. I am slightly surprised to see that, but well, that's how it is. And in the end, we'll be happy for green flag racing. Now, I've noticed that the ticker says lap 21 off, and then not so much else. And I'll just tell you, we've got 130 laps to go, or not to go, we've got 130 laps to complete, or 90 minutes of racing. We've been racing for 13 and a half minutes right about now. So on lap 22 here, Sergio Hernandez still leads this little bit of a pack, as there is indeed a gap opening up behind Bart DeFossi, who's fallen down into 5th place now. Kenzie Newhoff really moving forward and moving up the order, and I am afraid we have a caution period.
We have indeed, and what's going on here, we're still looking at the front of the field. This is it, Johan Osario's point of view. It's the 48 car we were talking about before. Robert Lundgren, I think he's been involved in probably more than his fair share of incidents in this first race and opening couple of laps. And let's have a look and see if we can grab it a bit further back here. He just gets a touch, he goes to the inside line, and that's cutting straight across what I believe is the 69 car of Lucas Debelder, and I believe he's new to the championship. So I bet he wasn't expecting the 48 to come all that way across onto the white line, and I think the spotter was probably needed there more than anything.
Yeah, but I'd expect him to have the spotter on. As you can see, the contact, he just dives down that fraction of a second too early. All the flaps coming on the car there, you can see holding it to the ground. Well, that's going to be minimizing the effects of the incident. Oh, the quantum car in it again. The 777. And I think the cars behind all get through. So not a huge, massive shunt as the one we saw last time around, so to say. But it is indeed better.
Yeah, and as all the cars start flooding into the pits now, I was about to say when we were under green flag conditions, it'll be interesting when they come in for the pits, because obviously, like you said, Hasse, they're all on pretty much identical, well, they are on identical setups. I believe they can fiddle around with the fuel, though, and so obviously tyres come into the factor as well. Everybody deciding that this caution period is the opportunity to come in, bolt some new rubber on, get some fuel in the car, and see how long they can go. It's pretty much guaranteed that we're going to get a caution period every so often, and it's just whether or not there are some people, like the drivers you see on screen now, and Jurgen van der Peer, whether or not they're brave enough to carry on and try and extend this little gap and potentially get track position.
Indeed, that is very much true, and it could really play into the hands of some of those drivers that were in earlier, but in the end they will have used their fast repair, and for a lot of these drivers that will not be the case. As we said, lap 24, and indeed it does show once the ticker rolls on, and of course we'll have a bit of trial and testing, see if we can get that fixed, make it look that little bit better. But I have to say, very happy with the work that has been put in by the wizard himself, Mr. Chas Drakert, because it really gives it the true NASCAR flavor.
Indeed, yeah, and I was talking to him the other day about it, and he said the original sort of ticker above at the top took up about a third of the screen, which is obviously not what we want to see. We want to see all the racing in all its glory. And he's taken a lot of time to edit that down to still make it all fit in and look lovely, and obviously brand it up with the orange and black. But yeah, we'll get on it about the lap 25 out of 130. The 130 is hidden behind the names, so every so often the names will disappear when they get to the end, and you'll be able to see the lap counter. But we appreciate that that's not ideal. We'll get it sorted for next week, don't you worry.
You're putting out big promises there, Jacko, but we'll do our best. I can promise you.
I know. I'm putting it on Chaz as well, to be fair, aren't I? Because it's not like me or you are going to be able to do that.
That is big promises. Anyway, I'm just gonna have a look back here, Robert, looking from this camera angle to see he cuts down from. Oh, you know what? Looks to me there was. Let's have that yet again, but this time around, let's get it in. Just is that actual contact, or that is the slightest bit of netcode? And I'm not saying they're not close. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's very immersion breaking, indeed. But poor luck for Robert Lundgren. He was so close to making it, and it might have been that slight bit of netcode that made all the difference in the end. Anyway, Jürgen van den Perre is, or Van de Perre is at the head of affairs now, and he's going to be leading the field with Sergio Hernandez on the outside as the pace car has the lights off. We'll be peeling off into the pit lane to get us back to green flag racing here, lap 26 of 130 that we've got to go. And I gotta applaud you, Thomas, for your wokeness there and actually spotting that it said 130 underneath the lap counter. I like how it goes to yellow, though. It's really nice indeed. Anyway, look how closely they're forming up here. Van de Perre is trying to squeeze Sergio Hernandez up towards the outside, I think ever so slightly. Make sure that he has maneuvering space for himself on the inside and that he isn't squeezed in there. And I take it it's a wise decision indeed. Pace car peels off, and that means we'll be back to green flag, boogity, 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 at the Texas Motor Speedway. And we're back to green, and we're gonna go 3 wide in an instant. Look at this. And it's New Off and the leader, Van de Perre, and we're back to yellow flag. I could only imagine that's gonna be another caution, and it is. And that's a huge one.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. That must be the quickest caution period we've had. I mean, to be fair, I think we had one on the line before, but they were going 3 wide. I just don't think there was enough room, and the 63 car maybe not having as much experience as some of the others didn't get that restart nailed down. He was always going to be under threat, shall we say, from the 62 car. It's a bit going. We're back in the caution period. Hopefully they'll get the fast repair done and dusted. Maybe they can get back out.
Yeah, that's a huge impact for Newhoff, who just gets sent off the car. Van den Perre as well, who also has a huge impact with the wall. And you have to say, when you look at it again, let's just recall the pictures here and see if we can get it from another angle. There it is. That might be a little better, which we'll be able to see this time around. There it is. You can see he just cuts across very similarly, actually, to the incident we had with the last caution period, Jacko. It seems the driver on the outside cutting across too early, not really being mindful of the fact that there's a driver on the inside. And, well, it doesn't really take a lot to have a lot of damage, that is, in terms of these incidents. So, indeed, we are back under caution periods, and you can see Van de Perre is in the pits. I think that looks like repairs being made. To me, Jago, it could be that I'm wrong. It could be a fast repair going on, but I think he was involved in the early incident on lap 3 as well there.
Yeah, well, the fast repair is a bit fiddly, in my opinion, on iRacing, because it's not like it's just automatically put on. You do have to press a button, which sounds like it's really obvious, but when you've just crashed out and you're coming back to the pits, or you're concentrating on a million other things, you do sometimes forget just to press the fast repair button. And then, obviously, you can then be sat in there for as as long as a long repair would take, which potentially, in the case of that crash, could be an awfully long time, especially if you have to tow back to the pits. So, yeah, hopefully he did click the fast repair button, and hopefully he'll be back out potentially only 1 lap down. But I fear for the worst if he is getting repairs.
Yeah, indeed. It is a bad sign. If it's repairs, you're pretty much going to be out of it to a point where it's going to be pretty impossible to come back. Anyways, now Sergio Hernandez leading. It's Perry in second, then Paul Gosling, Steve Klaes, Bart De Vos, and Bart Boland for Simracersworld Esports, then Frederik van Eekhoven for Team Down Under, Peter Jan Kleijsens for Team 11, Matty Sufi and Ari Sejes for the Ram Ones or Ramones, Oval Spain. You might just have to tell me which one of them it is. Greg Franks, Ian Roots, currently 12th. He's gained 21 positions over the course of 30 laps, so look out for the big boss. He's got plenty of experience when it comes to oval racing, and he might just make something out of it here. Then he's followed by Steven De Wolf, Robert Lundgren there in the 48, and Johan Osorio in front of Lucas Abelda, Jochen Lennartz, Manolo Rock, he's risen up 13 positions. Yves Fredericks, who started last for Radion Motorsports by QSR, he's risen up 15th position, up into 19th, and in 20th place at the moment, Bram van Aerten. Then John Tusting, Fernando Lopez, and last on the lead lap at the moment, the 87 car, the Flemish SimSports machine of Hendrik de Grave. And then the following cars all are either 1 or more laps down, and they will have a tough time coming back into it. But I'll just remind you quickly that at the last race of last season, Sergio Hernandez unlapped himself. He came back from being a lap down to taking the win, and thus taking the championship win as well, sealing that with absolute class and style. That was a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch. Pace car lights off, and that means we'll go to Giaco for our third race restart.
We will indeed, and it is Sergio Hernandez who will control the pace. Obviously extremely familiar with leading this group of cars out on this bit of tarmac as well. And as the pace car lights come out, we can see all the drivers going 2 by 2. It's a reverse, really, of the first caution restart we had, which had Tim Perry at the front of the field and Sergio Hernandez on the outside. This time, it's Hernandez on the inside and Perry on the outside. Paul Gosling in third place, exactly where he started this race as well. So the front lot haven't really been mixed up too much, apart from Kenzie Newhoff, who's obviously ended up in the pits. So expect to see fireworks yet again, but hopefully we'll get some good green flag running to start with. We've got a lap 31 out of 130, so expect 101 laps racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. The pace cars come in, it's down to Sergio Hernandez. Watch that bum squat to the ground, there he goes. And he's put the power down, the 22 car. Tim Perry hasn't been able to catch as quickly, but the front three, to be fair, have gotten away nicely. Bart De Vos is looking up the inside of Steve Klaes, I believe that is. And it seems that he's had to just calm down a little bit with the 26 and the 477. In fact, the 26 car's really struggling here. Who is that? Is Bob Boland, and he seems to have lost out an awful lot amount of time. And in fact, Matteo Sufi's gone through on him as well, and Peter Jan Klaesens has also gone through. So Bob Boland really the loser in that restart.
Indeed, he got swamped a little bit, and that's easy to have happening for you there. The 46 car of that'll be Ian Roots, won it. Indeed, he's in 13th place now on the outside of the Ramones car. It's the 11 machine of Johan Osorio. Nice looking car as well, I like that. And a nice clean race restart this time around. Field in pretty much single file all the way through, though it's very, very close at the head of the field. Now we've seen from Sergio Hernandez that he's a master of going about at a pace and just conserving his tires that a little bit better than the composition, I was about to say, that the opposition is able to. And he's been able to put some tricks that the others haven't really been able to match. But that was last season. The opposition might just have wisened up to the game. Let us see. There's a bit of bump drafting going on, and I think that's a very dangerous game to play indeed for Bart De Vos, who goes on to the apron and the grass there. We're going to have another look at it. There, slight touch of the 3 car, and that is, of course, the machine belonging to Steve Klaes. Still
As you
running.
skip it over. Sorry, carry on.
No, but I was just about to say, still running on the green flag, so it'll be hurtful on the chances of Bart the Fuss. Good qualifying session for him there. Tim Perry has taken over the race lead.
Yeah, I was just about to say my favourite bit about that clip, because obviously we don't like to see bumping or anything like that, but here is the Tim Perry move up the inside of Sergio Hernandez. He just got a really good slingshot, didn't he? Straight up the inside of Hernandez, who's wise enough to know that that won't really affect him going forward. He's got a long time in this race left. He's got about 90 laps left to regain that position and maybe even fuel save a little bit here and there, keep some life in the tyres potentially. He knows there's going to be plenty more caution periods as we're having a look at Johan Osorio. You're right, actually, Hasse, that is a fresh-looking car, isn't it? It reminds me a bit of a Hot Wheels style car. It's very nice. And it's something that I was going to mention, actually, because obviously we got used to everyone's livery in the previous series. Nothing really changed. Everyone seems to have changed it up this time around, including Simracersworld. So actually, we're being caught out a little bit by our own team. So it's they're all looking all very fresh. We're going to take a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, I really like the livery game. I mean, a couple of the cars are running liveries very similar. The boosted cars, at least the 22 of Tim Perry, they're not looking a little massively different. I think the color combination might be a little different, but black and pink looking beautiful indeed. And they're still hammering on. Green flag as we're on to lap 39 into turn, what I believe is turn 1. And then Sergio Hernandez second. Paul Gosling in third place in the 88 car, looking very strong. And Team Down Under, having come from pretty far down on the starting grid, but Racecraft is a strong side of theirs. Frederick van Eekhoven, who was very much in the championship fight all the way to the last race last season, is very much up there as well in fourth. Manny Sufi for Simracersworld. That's the 64 car, doing well. The 23 of Peter Jan Claessens. For Team 11 is doing very well as well. And the first time this race here, lap 40, strung out single file, though it's still quite close all around.
Yeah, I was just having a look as well, and the qualifying's actually changed from last season. So last season it was 4 laps still, so you could run for a maximum of 4 laps, but you had 10 minutes to do it in. This time it's still 4 laps, but you've got a maximum of 5 minutes to do it in. Now it's only a 30-second lap, so you've still plenty of time to get it done. But it does mean that if you're sort of not quite ready, you're a little bit more rushed. It may be just a little bit of a mental game going into qualifying now. It's not as relaxed as it used to be, which means we do get into the race nice and quick, which we obviously love. But I think that might be responsible for a little bit of mixing up of the grid. For instance, the Team Down Under cars maybe just didn't hook it together. Maybe they weren't quite ready. That's why they're a bit further down. Paul Gosling in the Quantum Racing Team car, he's actually a driver that we haven't seen much of last year. And yet today, he's really making a name for himself in third place. He's thoroughly deserving to be there as we're watching Peter Jan Claessens, one of the stronger newcomers to the series, I'd say, in terms of his qualifying position in 7th place and his current running position in 6th, fighting Matteo Sufi, who came, I believe he was a podium sitter in Season 1.
Yes, indeed, and that is true. The 23 car doing very well here on the series debut. Going to be handling things with plenty of experience indeed. And mind you, for these prolonged green flag periods, now I'm crossing my fingers and I'm going to be knocking a little bit of wood, and I'm sitting in my living room, so I can't really spit over my right shoulder, but trying to get rid of the bad luck, try not to jinx it. But it seems that with the less than 30-second laps, we're really hammering in the laps quite quickly under green flag. So there's a better race dynamic here. Look at this though, Jacko. Tim Perry starting to pull away.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second. That is huge in NASCAR terms, isn't it? I mean, normally 0.4 of a second, if you said that on a normal track on the Sunday MX-5s or maybe the TCR or the F4s or 3s or anything, basically, anything on the track, you would probably be thinking, oh, that's a big squirrely moment in the background now. And actually, I'll put a pin in it because Frederick van Eekhoven has gotten past Paul Gosling just about on the inside. And the 88 car is going to have to slot back in and try and do some more hard graft to get past the team down under, but they're starting to claw their way back now, aren't they? Frederick is now in a podium position. He's got Sergio Hernandez in his sights.
Yes, indeed he does. And you have to wonder whether Sergio Hernandez is just trying to bide his time and pick the moment to go at it. They pitted on lap 23. So you'd expect that the car should be able to keep running on...
Caution period.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag and it's Bram van Uyften who's involved. I'm afraid. Let's have a look here. That is the radioactive nuclear machine of Dynamixx race simulators. He's down into 22nd place. And I'm afraid Fredericks has been involved as well. There he collects the wall. The 13 car. Unlucky number indeed. But I'll tell you, oh, that is a huge incident. And that's not one. Who is the 13? Oh, that is Fredericks. There he is. Good looking livery. Yeah, but it didn't last too long, did it? Very unlucky. Let's just see. Maybe just gets it loose after collecting the outside wall. And Ryan Walker, how does he not... You know what, we're gonna have a look there from the viewpoint of, I think that's the Nomad car of Ryan Walker. That was a scary moment indeed. Let's see here as we go onto the roll bar and try to set the tempo a little down. So the crash is already happening. We saw what happened before, but the 13 car, yeah.
He doesn't even move the steering wheel. That's incredible. If you watch that again, he doesn't move the steering wheel once. He just drives it. It's okay. It's just a car coming on the bonnet. That'll be sound. I'll go straight on. Imagine seeing this coming straight at you, just thinking, yeah, it's sound. Oh, it's disappeared. Okay, that's cool. Thanks very much for coming. Brilliant.
So, a hefty incident, it has to be said now. Oh, I'll be having to go a little further back there, but I wanted to just see that contact. You see, gets a slide on. The rear end gets a little loose. He comes across. Van Uyften has nowhere to go in the 284. And he gets collected in, and he is the victim of this incident, you could say. And Ryan Walker, I'd say that is a well-designed catch fence that keeps the 13 car on track. Well reacted from the drivers behind not to get involved with it as well. And all in all, I think that one could have been a lot worse.
It could have been indeed, yeah. It's a bit gutting, as you said. The number 13 car, it's got a good-looking livery, but I prefer it to be the right way up more often than not. I imagine probably looks better that way. But it is another chance for Sergio Hernandez, who I believe Tim Perry is still in the race lead, but he's got. Oh, sorry, I got to mix up the number 7 car. Looked like Sergio Hernandez as I glanced at it, but it is a chance for Hernandez to put pressure back on Tim Perry, catch him back up, get into the slipstream and all that sort of good stuff, and potentially take the race back to him, because it was looking as though Tim was just inching away a little bit.
Yeah, he will be, I think, slightly frustrated with this caution period, but I think at the same time he'll be thinking, oh well, let's get back to it. Van Eekhoven somehow got the jump on Sergio Hernandez, but they did also a whole pit. So that, of course, explains while we were reviewing the incident. Well, that makes a little more sense then. But Tim Perry keeping race lead. Sergio Hernandez won't be too, I think, disgusted with that. It's a fine position to grasp the rest of the race. That 50 we're coming on to here. I believe the pace car will be turning off the lights and thus entering the pits at the end of this round. Let's see if they go double file throughout the field. And indeed it looks that way as well. For once I'm right. And we're gonna have...
It's a nice change when that happens, isn't it?
It is. It's certainly something special. It doesn't happen all too much, does it now? At least not when it comes to these kind of uncertain things where... yeah, that's the life of a commentator, and I think anyone who's ever tried to get their hands dirty with the field of commentary, they will know what I'm on about. Anyways, we are gonna have the race back to green flag conditions in a matter of seconds indeed. Yet again, it's Tim Perry on the outside. Frederik van Eekhoven, reigning champ in the 19 Lucky Dogs car. Sergio Hernandez, and then Matthew Sufi in the 64 for Simracersworld Esports. The pace car peels off, and now it's Tim Perry controlling the field as we're back to boogity green flag here at Texas Motor Speedway. Lap 51 is what we're at now. We're approaching halfway distance lap-wise, and it's going to be a close call actually, whether it's going to be laps or minutes for this one, as Frederik van Eekhoven is stuck on the outside of Matthew Sufi. That's going to be a position lost, and it's actually going to be 2 positions lost, because Sergio Hernandez wasted no time there in making it through, and he's up into 2nd place already.
Yeah, Van Eekhoven caught out badly there, really, and Hernandez, as you say, has slotted straight through, and so is Matthew Sufi. So the Simracersworld Esports car up to 3rd, where we're looking now, and it's Robert Lundgren, Ian Roots here in amongst a couple of other battles with a Flemish Simracersworld, Hendrik de Grave behind Jochen Lennartz of Dynamixx Race Simulations ahead. So some big team names flying about here tonight, even in the mid-pack as well. One of the my favourite team names, to be fair, is Lucas de Belder. He's in the team Go Fast, Turn Left, and I'd say that's the aim of the game.
Someone's got it. That's absolutely certain. Look at the string of cars ahead of Manolo Rojas. We're on board here with the Spaniard in 19th place. Oh, look at the Quantum car there. The 999 just getting slightly loose on entrance, which is a little strange to see. Plenty of battling going on now up ahead, and this is where you gotta be careful. We'll just have to have a look at what's going on here. Bart de Vos, he's in 10th place with the 69 car of Lucas de Belder of the aforementioned Go Fast, Turn Left. And then Greg Franks in the orange numbered 99 machine. I really like that livery. The color scheme with the orange numbers looks very good to me. A bit of side-by-side action here for Hendrik de Grave, and in the 65, that is Jochen Lennartz on the outside, getting the squeeze on, respectively so though, and John Tosting is almost making it up there on the inside. Kurt van Honacker has entered the pit lane at this point in time, which is certainly not optimal, but we'll have to oh, that is it for KV Racing, the number 07 car into the pits for repairs, and it doesn't look too good. By the way, still Tim Perry leading, trying to claw back that advantage, looking very strong, and you know what, the gap's back up to what it was as we came into the caution periods. It's around half a second again.
Yeah, it's. I just wonder, is he chewing his tyres up? How is he getting this much pace out of the cars against the likes of Sergio Hernandez, Matthew Sufi, and Frederik van Eekhoven, and in fact Steve Clays, who are all in this little battle, and then one further back actually is Paul Gosling is still just about hanging on. Bart de Vos dropping off quite badly. He's all the way down in 10th position, as we mentioned before. He was really in the midst of this battle, but after a bit of early contact, he hasn't really managed to get back up yet. So Steve Clay's in the prime position to see how this is going to fan out. But you're right, Tim Perry, he is, in terms of NASCAR standards, got quite a gap away from these this battling pack. And the more they battle, the less likely we are to actually see them attack Tim Perry anytime soon.
Indeed, yeah, Bart de Vos there moving up into 9th place up the inside of the 11 car of Johan Osorio. And won't be feeling too Osorio to get back on level terms with Bart. I do apologize for my questionable at best puns. But we do have to bring him out there anyways, don't we? And that's some very good racing so far. Here is another tight squeeze. That's Ian Roots on the outside of the Flemish car of Hendrik de Grave. Is now trying to pick up the speed there, but he'll be stuck there on the outside. He won't be able to really maximize his run. Same goes for Hendrik though, as they're still side by side. And I think Ian Roots having to concede that position before anyone else. squeezes up the inside. Bart the Fuss, he's having a move on here. Jacko up into 7th now.
He must have heard me, because he has made 3 places up since I made the comments about him in 10th place. He's got an awfully big gap though. I mean, you can't really even see anybody in the cameras ahead of him, but as you can see up the inside, it's a brave move, isn't it? We've seen plenty of people come into contact and end their races early with that sort of move, but Bart de Vos is trimming his way through. Look at that, just up the inside of the Simracersworld car there. I believe that's Bod Boland he was flying up the inside of. So, yeah, Bart certainly making his moves now. He's up to 7th, but as I said, he's got an awfully long way to go before he catches Paul Gosling. It's 1.1 seconds as there's more contact in the background of Bod Boland, and I think that was Johan Azario. I could be wrong though. No, Azario's on the outside, and it was Peter Jan Claessens actually who had the incident.
Yeah, that's
not much of an incident, just a little tap luckily, but nothing to cause a caution period for it.
Luckily so, not even a real incident, no damage to any of the cars in that situation, but it could have been a sketchy moment nonetheless, and one to really accelerate the heart rates of a few drivers there as they're coming close. Here down the back straight into turn 2 they go. Bart Boland at the head of this pack in the 26 car. Then Lucas de Belder and the 99 machine of Greg Franks. Here is Hendrik de Graaf, who's making his way up past Johan Osorio on the inside. Ari Sejas, the Argentine, is in front for Ramones. And we are on lap 63. It's been 43 minutes since we've got action underway here, so we are fairly close. Almost a touch there. Oh, look at the slide there from de Graaf. He catches it, but he's going to be in a poor position now as they cross the line to do yet another lap. Robert Lundgren gets on the inside of the 11 car. A lot of position changes going on in this midfield scrap, if you will. Here's Steven de Wolf getting handed a little bit of radioactive waste. You could say he's saying, oh, get me out of that. That's not a nice place to be. And he jumps right back past on Van Uyften. And up here, Mehdi Soufi's defending from Paul Gosling. And further up, Tim Perry still leads Sergio Hernandez and Frederick Van Eekhoven.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if any of these drivers are going to pit in, because we've done green flag running for a little bit of time now. I would imagine they're holding out to see if there's another caution period brewing somewhere, but there is quite a big gap between the top 3 and then obviously even further back the sort of top 5 as we're looking at this mid-pack battle, which is an awfully, well, it's certainly a lot closer. Brand van Uytven and Bod Boland here with a couple of cars just behind Lucas de Belder, just trying to hold off Hendrik de Graaf. He's looking right up the inside, but he had Ian Roots, who's going a little bit wide there as well in the 46 car. Side by side here though, Brand van Uytven, and I think that's Robert Lundgren as well, who's been in the wars, it's fair to say, this evening, and he goes to the outside, and that is let the driver go through. But side by side here is Hendrik de Graaf. I said he was looking racy today. He's got through Lucas de Belder. He's got also through Gregory Vance. So the Flemish Simsport car is also making moves. It's not just Bart de Vos out here trying his best.
Oh, indeed, and we have seen a couple of feisty gentlemen out there in a good way. A couple of drivers making up masses of positions so far and really providing a lot of overtakes for our entertainment. Tim Perry still leading, but look at that, looks more and more like the familiar sight that is Sergio Hernandez playing the long game, knowing that saving his tires will give him the advantage he needs at a later point. And he's not really afraid.
Caution.
Oh, we have a caution period. That might change things a little bit around. It's Peter Jan Claessens is involved. And we'll have a look immediately. Oh, it seems like it could be a solo incident. He collects the wall, gets a slide on, and collects the inside wall. And then the question is, does anyone collect his car? As there's an entire field to run through magically. So that was very, very close indeed, Jacko, but I think they all made it.
Yeah, I mean, someone out there needs to buy a lottery ticket. I'm not sure who it was in the Brand van Uytven who was going through in the Dynamixx car, but Peter Jan Claessens, that is the worst position to be in any race circuit anywhere. I think the speed that these cars are traveling at, just to fly into the side of him. Well, he'd be thanking God that it's not the real life, because that would be really nasty if it was going to be sort of jackknifed like that. But yeah, he's going to get back without too much damage, potentially. I don't know if he's got his fast repair left. I don't even know if he may need it. It looks like his tracking is all straight. Let's see if he can carry on. But a few other people, here we go, Tim Perry and everybody else seems to be jumping into the pits. I said about the sort of pit lane, when people are going to dive into it, whether they're waiting for another caution period. That seems to be the case, because as soon as the caution period is called, everybody floods in. Look at that busy pit lane.
Yeah, indeed. Tough luck in that situation for Peter Jan Claessens, who has been looking so strong on his debut. That looked like a solo incident to me. I'm just gonna recall the pictures of the situation yet again. We're gonna have it right around here so you can see. I'm just gonna see if we can get ever so slightly further back. Then give us. Oh, that wasn't really much help, was it? This way around should probably be better. So there it is. Much better here. Out of turn 2, collects the outside wall, and you can see already there he's lost all kind of control with the car. Back wheels are spinning, and as you say, in real life that would have been a very, very big shunt indeed. And
he is so lucky that he doesn't get collected as well. That must be terrifying, especially that, there we go, the yellow car that just went through. Van Oytven, yeah, that's just heart in mouth situation. I don't know how Van Oytven didn't just panic and snap the wheel into the wall, but yeah, brilliant to see there. And I think we may well be sort of getting close to the end of the caution period, because we had a look at that a couple of times. Here we go, we're back live, and the lights are still on, actually, Hasse. So I want to play a little game with you now, because we've obviously had we're nearly halfway through, and we've had a couple of caution periods now. And I've been on the Texas Motor Speedway for fun facts about the track. And there's quite a few interesting ones that they obviously thought was relevant enough to put on here. So it's a bit of a guessing game. You can play at home as well if you want. But they list the amount of elevators here at the Texas Motor Speedway. That seemed to be a fact that they thought was relevant to people in America. So can you guess, Hasse, the amount of elevators there are at the Texas Motor Speedway?
No,
I'll give you 5 either way.
Nah, yeah, but I'll say there's probably going to be quite a lot. I would imagine. I'd say something like 36.
I'll tell you what, have you been on the website? It's 35.
No, I haven't.
That's pretty stunning. Okay, 35. Well done. That's very impressive. I don't know why they needed to list that. Another one, here we go, is men's restrooms. It's actually half the amount that the women's restrooms, which they've also listed on here. So I'll give you about 10 either way. How many restrooms do you think they're going to be? For men. For men.
There will be a lot more for men than for women, that's for sure. At place like this, I wouldn't be surprised. But let's say I think there is 102 restrooms. Individual restrooms. What?
843 men's restrooms. And the biggest shock with this stat is there are double the amount of women's restrooms as well. I'm not sure what demographic they're going for, or who they think's turning up. But to be fair, I think it takes longer to go to a women's restroom, doesn't it?
I think that's probably the question. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get back to the racing now.
Yeah,
there are some other fun ones next time we go caution.
Brilliant, Jacko. And with that, take us through the race restart, please.
Yeah, we're about to have the pace car come back under the apron and go back into the pit lane, so don't worry, we'll have more Texas Motor Speedway related fact questions coming your way at what will be the next caution period. But Tim Perry is yet again leading the way. He's got Sergio Hernandez yet again in second place. And it's just like the first restart, and away Tim Perry goes. I think he's actually released the throttle every single time in basically the same place. This time, Frederik Van Ekhoven has caught Sergio Hernandez sleeping though. So Hernandez is going to move back to third place. Van Ekhoven has gone up to second. In fact, no, he's come off the throttle a little bit. Hernandez has been braver with the cold tyres, and he's stuck his throttle down the outside, and by the looks of it, he's secured that second place with Matteo Suvi. Oh, didn't realise there was another caution period. Manolo Rock getting sideways.
So we're going to have a look at what exactly happens around here. as we go back to green, the number 60 car. Yet another example of how yellows breed yellows. We do have a whole field bunched up very closely. Well, that looks a little bit strange for me. We'll have to go on board with Kenzie Newhoff to get a little bit wiser to just what happened there. The 565. Oh, he just goes right around there. He's got his sights on going. Oh, it just breaks away from him like that. It looks very, very, very strange indeed.
Yeah, it just seems to snap out of nowhere, doesn't it? It's like he's in second gear and his wheels span it up. Well, let's listen to that again. Everybody just listen to it, because there might have been a touch we just can't hear.
I think it sounds like the wheels are spinning before the touch.
Yeah, that just goes on its own, I feel.
I think he missed his gear. Listen to it. It sounds like it doesn't. We'll go back once more for that. We're on board with Manolo here. Listen to the gear change. Just listen. I'm not sure, but it might be. Listen. Doesn't that sound like something in neutral as he comes around there? Or Ryan Walker also collects another. I'm not quite sure this. Oh, Anton Dupin, actually, that is. He's saying that was a money shift into first gear. Oh, Manolo, if that's what happened, that makes good sense. Listen. First, he's in second gear. Yeah, and he changes down into first. That throws the rear of the car around. That is poor luck, to say the least.
Yeah, especially for Ryan Walker as well, who obviously was completely bystander in that, and he's been in the wars horrifically tonight. And in fact, he's come on the comments to express his opinion. But he just was a bystander, basically. He was doing his restart, everything was going well. All of a sudden, you'll see the yellow car just on the right of your screen here. Right, you can just about see it past the roll cage and everything like that. And there you go, the car's broken, and all of a sudden Ryan Walker just finds a yellow car just parked straight in front of him. And that has damaged his race yet again. And I'm not sure if Ryan Walker has gone back to the pits, but certainly damaged his car horrifically. Look at that. And he does pull over in the end, we know that. And there he is, he's in the pits. And I assume he's got his fast repair done and dusted already, so he's going to have to sit there and wait for it to redo.
Such bad luck for Ryan Walker and the 555 machine. A heartbreaking situation indeed. And no matter what or how much heartbreaking he would have applied in that situation, there was absolutely no avoiding that incident. A mere passenger in the situation. Still got lights on the pace car, which means that you can still hop down in the description and visit the website of our sponsor, Dynamixx Race Simulators, and check out what they got in store, not only for race simulators, but for all sorts of fun experiences. That is, perhaps a bit of dreaming of what we'll be able to do once we're out of this, the quench hole of this unnameable disease. Anyways, let's see, pace car lights are off, which means the field will be coming round yet again. And Jacko, this time around, they've seemed to really come in pairs, the caution periods, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I always said it pretty much every race last time out, and I said I wouldn't do it this time, but somebody on the comments actually has beaten me to it anyway. It's that caution periods breed caution periods, safety car breed safety car is the sort of quotes I'm going for. But obviously, it's a pace car, not a safety car. So, yeah, caution periods, you know, at the end of the day, everybody's so close, so tight, everybody's trying to just nick that position from the drivers ahead of them, gain that little bit of advantage before everyone spaces out again, and that does cause another caution period. So, Hasse, we'll hand over to you because we're about to go racing for the starting on the 78th lap of 130. It's gone quite quickly tonight.
Indeed, it has. Coming into the last, what is that? The last 50 laps. Which, if we get them all green, that'll be about just under 25 minutes of running. But mind you, we've got 34 minutes left, so it won't be many caution periods we've got left to do with. Anyways, pace cars in. It's Tim Perry controlling the field, and he floors it. He tries to go early. He wants to make sure he's not caught out by Sergio Hernandez. They've got Frederik van Eekhoven on the inside as we're far and wide on the shot to see the entirety of the field. Into turn 1 they go. We're just trying to make sure we get a good glance of the entirety of the pack here. Oh, chaotic situations there. 2 wide, 3 wide, a little bit of a swervy moment for one of the Simracersworld cars. That was
it's all going on, to be fair, though, isn't it? Everyone's going. That is Stuart Musselwhite in the Simracersworld, esports car. Now at the back of the field, but Tim Perry, Frederik van Eekhoven is in the middle of Hernandez and his prey in Tim Perry. It's a dangerous place to be. Hernandez goes up the inside, uses that slingshot. He doesn't want to mess around. He knows what track position he wants, and it is as high as possible. But Tim Perry, yeah, again, he seems impervious to actually taking the pressure here. It's whether Hernandez is actually just charging up his tyres and trying to save them as much as possible, maybe saving a bit of fuel so we can go for a quick pit stop. Bart de Vos, he's taking advantage of the caution period. He's gone from 7th up to 6th now, and he's got Steve Clays in the Skittles car just ahead of him. And I'm a big fan of the Skittles car. I actually prefer them to M&M's. But Lucas de Belder, he's going to be trying to go fast and turn left around the outside of the Simracersworld car. And in fact, there's quite a few smatterings of the Simracersworld car, but to be fair, there is 5 of them. If you look at some point in the field, there's going to be one of them somewhere.
Indeed, chances are, any given wide shot, we'll be seeing a couple here. Tim Perry, though, still holding on to the lead position. The number 1 man today, he's been on a chart, but Sergio Hernandez, the reigning champion, will be having none of it. If he can have it his own way, he'll be trying to get past, and he is closer than close. They're basically welded together here. And he needs to be careful. This is not the place to really go and bump draft, because the straight, at least the start-finish straight there, isn't really straight. With these D-shaped ovals.
He's going to have to go up the inside here. He's going to have to do it if he's going to do it quickly, which he wants to. Straight up the inside, taking advantage of the fact that he had the overspeed. Frederik van Eekhoven tries to follow through as well. Tim Perry will know how effective this slipstream is. He won't be too worried about a thing. He's got 50 laps or about 20 minutes to do something about it and get back up into the lead. But this 3-way fight is spicing up nicely, isn't it, Hasse? It's going to be really thrilling as the two, Frederik van Eekhoven and Sergio Hernandez, really put pace between between themselves and the pole sitter Tim Perry, who's now in 3rd place. Matteo Sufi is actually closer to Perry than Perry is to van Eekhoven.
Yeah, Perry seems to have lost a little bit of time there as van Eekhoven is very, very close to the rear end of Sergio Hernandez, and that means this is one of the big title fights. It was down under against Lucky Dogs last season, but it was Sergio Hernandez all alone. But he managed to come out on top. This was one of the big fights last season, and we're seeing it yet again here. Hernandez, van Eekhoven going head-to-head within the last 25 minutes of green flag running, if we stay green, that is. We've got just half an hour's time left on the time limit. So no matter what, there will be limits to just how far we can go into this here as Johan Osorio gets ahead of Ian Roots, just up ahead of him in the 17 car teammate Ari Sejas in 12th place at the moment. John Tusting is there in 19th in the 999 for Quantum Racing. Good looking couple of cars they have there for themselves. Kenzie Newhoff will not be happy with this at all. Jackie's sitting 20th at the moment.
Yeah, but he was a lap down, so at the end of the day, he could be pleased that he's no longer a lap down. And as we said a couple of times this stream, the finale last time out was Sergio Hernandez's time to shine. He ended up spinning off a couple of times in the finale race at Daytona. He actually ended up coming back up to finish in 3rd place. So Kenzie Newhoff knows that this won't be the end of the world, as we're looking at Hendrik de Graeve getting potentially attacked by Bod Boland. Bod, who seems to be a bit of an expert in all things racing on iRacing. We've seen in plenty of GT series really ripping it up, as I'm sure a whole host of these other drivers are as well. I just haven't seen as much of them as I have of Bod. Look at how close they are with the Toyota in front of them now. Hendrik gives them a little bit of room. He knows that there's going to be a dangerous position if he keeps himself there as goes through Bod. And I tell you what, hello, says Lucas the Belder. I'll have a little bit of that, please. And I'll move at one place as well. If he can get it up the inside, he's trying to stick it onto the backside. On the bottom of the 63 car there. Who's that? Because that's a back marker. Really getting in the way. And I think that means Lucas has got through it. Has a Hendrick Graves really lost that.
Yeah, and a couple of cars in behind getting slightly upset in that situation as well, I believe. But all seemingly managing to get past safely, which means coming on to lap 89 of running here at the Texas Motor Speedway. We have Sergio Hernandez having gone for the race lead, and Tim Perry having fought Frederick Van Eekhoven closely as well over the last few laps here. So an interesting few minutes. And Van Eekhoven certainly isn't keen on losing the tail end of Sergio Hernandez. Tim Perry doing his best to stay in touch there, and Matthew Sufi not too far behind. Same goes for Bart DeVos, who's done an excellent job in getting back. Mind you, he started so far up the order. He had that incident, slight incident, which lost him quite a lot of time, actually, really put him back the running order. And he's managed to bring himself all the way back up into 5th place now, so doing well for himself. And then slightly further back from these drivers, but not really any huge gaps. There's Lucas de Belder for go fast, turn left. He was very much doing the same thing of bringing himself in position for a good comeback. There is Greg Franks, I believe, in the 99 machine at the outside. He's going to lose out positions there. Oh, sorry, I'm getting past. Oh, they've made contact, and I'm afraid that's going to be a... Is it caution? No, it's not. Just a small tap there. Let's just see what we can do in terms of getting that on a replay for you to see. Just... Oh, we have a... Jochen Lennertz and John Tusting, and this time around, it's a yellow flag.
Yeah, let's have a look at this one, because it's an awful lot bigger than that one we were about to try and find, but around the outside of a... I think that's... not sure who that was, really, but he just ends up...
I'm afraid that is Jochen Lennertz, who collects the wall there. Let's have a look. Go on the slow motion just at the Texas sign, maybe just after. Boink! There it is, a small bit of a touch. Comes back on, slows down massively, of course. This isn't really something you can react to necessarily. And synchronous sliding for a moment there. Synchronous sliding, almost still. A 2-car incident, however, not the worst we've seen by any means today. Although still very poor luck for these two drivers. And this comes at a time where we're on lap 93 now. The pace car has already come out, and I believe that if we will be seeing anyone coming in, we'll be seeing them come in quite shortly indeed. I'm just going to go on forward with Jochen here. He's on the outside. Okay, so that's an explanation. Look at that. He's on the outside of Newhoff, I think, in the 62. Gets a bit of a swerve there. He has to do a slight bit of correcting. And you can see his car is sliding here as well on all 4 tires. Hits the wall. Comes across, nothing he can do. As soon as he's hit that wall, I think he's an absolute passenger. And that's the 999 car. Quantum Racing, I'm afraid, involved yet again.
Yeah, not ideal for any of those cars. Jochen Lennertz, don't know whether he just took too much speed in or whether he was actually intentionally going for Kenzie Newhoff's outside line. Either way, it ends up in the wall, so it doesn't really matter what his intentions were. The outcome is the same, unfortunately. So it's just given the opportunity for a couple of drivers to activate the lucky dog, which does obviously give an opportunity for drivers who are a lap down under caution period to unlap themselves, which is a good feature in NASCAR racing. It means the likes of the drivers who have been involved in an earlier incident, the opportunity to get back involved, which is exactly the likes of Kenzie Newhoff, took advantage of that feature and that ruling, meaning that they're back now into a competitive position for the top 10. And looks of it, the whole host of cars have come in. Brand Van Ooytven decided not to come in. Steven de Wolf in second place. Frederick Van Eekhoven is the sort of top of the front runners that we expect to see potentially, who I think he has come in, Hasse, and Tim Perry has as well. And then I'm just having a look for Sergio Hernandez. Can't actually see him. Am I wrong in thinking he's pit and the others haven't? Here he is, all the way down at 13th.
Well, they've all been in from Van Eckhoven and down. They've all been in on lap 93, and a couple of cars in as well, except for some of the cars, of course, that are a lap or more down. As you can see, Ryan Walker and some of the others, but I think they will be in the pits at the moment.
Oh,
so
apparently Anton Dupin says that Hernandez has a penalty.
Hernandez has a penalty. That is... Well,
if you want to give us more information on that, Anton, go ahead.
Let's just have to see. Maybe I can dig up something in the realms of our Discord channels to see if we can see something there. I'm not quite sure. I'm afraid not. I am afraid not. So that is a big surprise indeed. A penalty for Sergio Hernandez. Oh my word. The reigning champ. And mind you, Jacko, this is quite late in the race. Safety car, pace car. Lights are out. And it's going to come in on this lap. And it's going to be your turn to take us through what I believe, could it be the 6th restart we have on this night? I've lost count, to be honest. But that would be my best guess.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even try and keep count with that anymore. I think we just, get what we were given and let's get on with this sort of thing. But it's going to be Bram van Ooytven who's going to lead the way from Steven de Wolf. So Bram up 31 positions currently, but it's probably because he didn't pit in that final window. So expect the likes of Frederik van Eckhoven, who will be on the newer tyres, and Tim Perry to come through after a couple of laps, if not straight away, as the pace car comes around. They'll dive into the pits sooner rather than later. And Bram and Steven, has to say as well, their cars are looking a bit damaged, especially Steven de Wolf there on the backside. I don't know if it's just my feed or whether they are actually a little bit damaged, but there is Sergio Hernandez all the way down in 22nd. Maybe he just wants to make it interesting. But as the pace car comes in, Bram van Ooytven hits the power and away he goes. Van Eckhoven up the inside of Steven de Wolf straight away, so he's straight into second place. De Wolf didn't stand a chance, I don't think. 22 is Tim Perry going at the inside as well. Caution period potentially on the cards here if it's going to be a little bit more contact. Bart de Vos trying to follow away through, and they're going 3 wide. On the outside is the 64 car, and there's, tell you what, Bart de Vos just about gets one of these into the wall.
Huge incident. And Bart de Vos, they were scrapping and sprawling with one another. And the yellow flag is out yet again, and we see it here again. I'm just gonna pull it back instantly on to the slow-mo. We can just see the contact there between Bart de Vos and the 76. He's sent into the wall. Could have been a net code. It was not a lot of contact. Steve Kleis in it as well. The 87, that's Hendrik de Grave. There is Kenzie Newhoff being picked up. And the big danger for a driver like Sergio Hernandez in these situations is that you could get picked up so easily in those situations. This is a little bit from afar. Cannot really see anything new from that angle. See if we can get another angle on things here. Bart de Vos, he comes across a little aggressively in that situation, but they are twitchy, these cars. This is a very, very closely packed group, and it's difficult to say the least. As you can see, 3-4 cars trying to go for the just same bit of track as they're all trying to avoid it. The 26 car involved, I'm afraid, as well, almost getting caught up by that one. 99 of Greg Franks getting through. Stuart Musselwhite is there in the 18. There is Sergio Hernandez. And I think, to the best of my understanding, he makes it through as well. Let's see here on board with Bart de Vos. And then it's just chaotic indeed.
Yeah, I think it looks like he definitely wasn't the car that was going in a straight line. He wasn't going parallel to the other cars, put it that way. But it'd be interesting getting on board and sort of see if we can slow it down straight away and see if he was, trying to straighten up, whether it was a snap of the car. looking at it here, and that's the incident actually from Kenzie Newell's perspective, who has been in the wars, it's safe to say tonight. And as soon as you see a couple of cars twitching in front of you in amongst about 5 others, you just know it's not going to end well. You just sort of put your foot down and hope for the best. And you can see just in front of you, Bart de Vos, the car in front of the car in front of you. He comes across, and all of a sudden, as soon as you see that, there is a little bit of netcode. There's space between those two cars. I'm not saying they wouldn't have touched in the end, but I'm not sure if it would have been as dramatic as that. But Kenzie Newell, as I said, he's a passenger at this point. Just try and put your foot down and carry on straight through the gap if you can. And he unfortunately gets collected.
Oh, so the netcode in that situation, I'm afraid, actually playing its part in making the incident as serious as it ended up being. Back to live pictures. Here's Bram van Uyften at the head of the field onto lap 100 of the 130 that we've got to complete. But we're coming in towards the last 15 minutes that we've got. So it's a tight squeeze. We can still make it, but they need to keep it running for the last 30 laps with no caution periods, I believe.
Yeah, it's a big ask, unfortunately, isn't it? Because as we said a couple of times, the fact that all the sort of competitors are so closely packed together means that there's more opportunity for incidents, which if you're a spectator, I'm sure is probably quite entertaining. If you're a competitor, it probably means that it's a little bit annoying, I have to say. But, from a commentator's perspective, it gives us an awful lot to talk about, which is quite nice. And just before we sort of forget, going into the final stages, if you want to have a quick dive down, if you haven't already, into the description, have a look at the Dynamixx range of simulator products and experiences, then you can always do that. As we said, you've got about 2 minutes to do such a thing. As the cars are starting to line up 2 by 2, you better do it quickly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a quick glance by now, isn't it?
Always got to plug it though, Hasse, come on.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything else, but I'm just trying to keep our viewers engaged here. Anyways, if you like what you see with us tonight on Simracersworld TV, then leave us a like. And if you want to see more great sim racing content and live broadcasts here, as I almost contact there, by the way, do feel free to subscribe as well. Feel like I got interrupted ever so slightly, but the field bunching up back together, and it's time for that pace car to peel off. And for the last 30 laps of green flag racing here at the Texas Motor Speedway to commence. We have a very good situation for some of the challengers to our reigning champ, Sergio Hernandez, with Frederick van Eekhoven, Tim Perry, etc., all looking for this elusive race win. And here it is, Bram van Uyften. He goes very early indeed. I think he actually catches out Frederick van Eekhoven there. Tim Perry, Matty Sufi. Tim Perry goes early around the outside as well. He gets a very good run on van Eekhoven. We'll have to see for just how long the tires of Bram van Uyften can last, because last time he was in the pits was at lap 69, then in behind. It's a bit of scrapping and scrolling, and look at that! Oh my word! That's Sergio Hernandez up into 8th place already. And where did he come from this quickly? Of course, there was an incident. There was a bit of positions to be gained there. He's come so quickly. He's making, look at this, up the inside of the 17, immediately through the free of Steve Gleis, now up ahead. And what is he going to do there? He's going to get a run. He's going to move up on through there into the inside line here immediately. And look, I'd be surprised, Jacko, if he doesn't go for it right about here. He does, and that's up into 6th place. And at this pace, he can still come back to take the race win. Incredible stuff. Hernandez up into 5th place. And when will I say 4th? I don't even know. It's going to be a matter of seconds, I believe. What a restart from the Spaniard.
Yeah, he's already going for the inside into turn 1. He's got 4th place. Even when he's down the order, we can't stop looking at Hernandez. Tim Perry and van Eekhoven have gotten rid of Van Uyften, who is just plummeting down the order, to be honest. But it looks like that Matteo Sufi, Hernandez, Tim Perry and van Eekhoven are going to be the drivers. And into 3rd place, Hernandez goes as van Eekhoven goes wide. He goes very wide, in fact. He just about keeps it out of the wall. And I tell you what, Johan Osorio is up there. So great debut drive from him so far. He could be in for a really good finish. Tim Perry has gone back into the lead. Sergio Hernandez has got back into 2nd. It's basically like the last 30 laps just didn't happen.
It's incredible. absolutely incredible. All of a sudden, from that was last to first, more or less. I know he's still got Tim Perry to get around, but Sergio Hernandez showing that, well, I've mentioned the fact that the cream does tend to rise to the top. You mentioned Johan Osorio doing well for himself in 6th place on the tail of Frederick Van Eekhoven, but look at that restart. 25 laps to go, which when you look at the ticker, it should come into the top last 25 lap there. It goes from saying on what lap we're on to how many laps to go. And that's quite a nice one, actually. Still racing for it, though. Tim Perry trying to defend, trying to hold off the reigning champ in the 19 machine for Lucky Dogs, who's absolutely piling on the pressure at the moment. He's yet to falter up ahead, Tim Perry, but at this rate, it's a tough ask for him to be able to actually keep Sergio Hernandez in behind.
Yeah, it is Hernandez on the charge. Did he take any sort of life out of his tyres that Perry has got left in the pocket? Not entirely sure. There may well be enough time for another caution period and then jumping into the pits. But like you said, Hasse, I think there's only about 10 minutes to go, maybe 15 if we're lucky. 23 laps, so if we keep it green, we're going to keep it all the way. So these guys will not be pitting again if we go green for the remainder of this race. Tim Perry and Sergio Hernandez glued together front and back. Now look at that, Matteo Sufi and Bob Boland and Simracersworld cars as well, looking for 3rd and 4th. And Van Eekhoven a little bit further down. He's now in 5th after what looked like he was potentially going to go for the race lead. Speaking of going for the race lead, here goes Sergio Hernandez up the inside of Tim Perry. Will he be able to get there? He just dipped out the slipstream a little early. He's still got a good run up the inside. It wasn't quite as clean as maybe he was hoping for. Having said that, he's still going side by side. Perry keeping around the outside. He's going to take touch with the contact of the wall. No, but he's still got his nose ahead as they come across to start the 21 laps to go of this Texas Motor Speedway. And it's all come down to the final couple of laps. And this is exactly why we love oval racing.
Yeah, indeed it is. And the racing is closer and closer and closer as we draw closer to the line here at the head of the field. They've been too wide for laps now. It's Tim Perry looking, oh, is he still keeping it out there? It's going to be a taken. Look at that overtake. It's going to be a job on, laps on laps on laps there. But he's gotten ahead now and Hernandez into the lead, although they're still overlapping. And it's really allowing Matty Sufi to get in behind there. Look at that, he's overlapping, and he's well past, I think, on Tim Perry. And that might open the door for the Manxman, Bob Boland there as well. There's a bit of lap traffic to contend with. Van Eekhoven in 5th at the moment. Still in with a shout, though, the Simracersworld esports cars of Matthew Sufi and Bob Boland all of a sudden in a very good place to challenge here, Jacko.
Yeah, one of the Simracersworld cars actually finished on the podium in the finale at Daytona, but it was Ian Roots who is a bit further down. He's in 17th, big hit off by Lucas de Belder, and he was on his roof as he hit the infield, so I'm not entirely sure what happened to him, but he's collected another car, the 77 of Philip Russell in the Team Ford Zilla car, and he made contact with originally the number 17 car, and just trying to find who that is. That's actually Ali Sejas in the Ramons Oval, Spain. So that's not ideal for either of these drivers come the end of the race, and we are back under caution.
We are indeed back under caution. As you can see, the Belder gets a tap to the 77, which spins, well, it doesn't really spin him out of control, but it sends him drifting into the wall, and he can't really do anything about it. He's on his roof here, gets collected by the 999. That's the Quantum car, and from there on, it seems to go from bad to worse. Oh, and Ian Roots. It's such a difficult thing. Oh, and there's the Ford Zilla car as well that gets picked up. So there is the 77 getting involved. That's relatively late in the incident. And we have to wonder if it was the Belder all the way through. There he is. And I'm just gonna get us back to, what's the 17 car? So that's Ari Sejas, whom he just collects. I think Sejas collects the wall. And it's not the first time we've seen drivers caught out by... Oh, and once you accelerate this, the violence of what just happened becomes clear. That was a massive, massive shunt. A high energy impact, huge incident indeed.
Well, I don't know if you had this when you were younger, Hasse, or over in Denmark, but it looked like Beyblade as he was coming onto his roof. And he just gets spun round. It's as if he's let it rip almost. And unfortunately, it's ripped the front end off a few other cars as they've gone past. But yeah, not ideal for him, but he is spinning like a Beyblade.
Oh, Lucas the Belder. He, I'm afraid, won't be going too fast anymore. And if not lucky, he won't be turning left either. 17 laps to go, but I don't think we're going to make 17 laps here. I think it's going to be on time, which I'm just going to see. Let me get it to...
I think we've got 9 minutes, basically. We're going to go until 1:30. So, depending where you are in whatever country you're watching this from, obviously in GMT time in the UK, it's 9:30. So that's where we're going to on time. So 17 laps. It's probably unlikely that we're going to fit that in, as that would be about 8.5 minutes if we were clean running, which obviously we're not quite doing at the moment.
So that, of course, means 10:30 Central European time, the best time, the only time, the right time.
You keep thinking that, Hasse.
Yeah, whatever you islanders say. But anyways, still lights on the pace car. Tim Perry in a good position, though. I wonder what happened to Sergio Hernandez. Oh, I get it then. A couple of cars came into the pits on lap 113. Tim Perry, and that must be a bit of a loss for him, I take it. He was in on lap 93. And of course, you don't gain a lap while pitting, so they have gone back. Well, also, of course, while we were checking out the incident that we had this pit stop round. But interestingly so, it seems that from Sergio Hernandez and everyone in behind did pit on lap 113. So most of the field, except for the top 4, will be on fresh tires for the end of the race. So it's Tim Perry, Kim Behait, Paul Gosling, and Jochen Lennartz, the top 4, as I said. Those are the ones that have stayed out. And let us see if there is anything to gain from it. But Tim Perry seemed to me like he'd been driving with his head over this last stint. And he might just think that with only 6 minutes left, he might be in the good here. It all depends, Jacko, on just how big of an advantage Sergio Hernandez will be sitting on here tire-wise.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as Sergio Hernandez was diving into the pits, I'm amazed that Tim Perry didn't react to do the same thing, because Perry was behind Hernandez. So he wouldn't be able to see what his rival was doing. But as the pace car comes in, let's see if it comes to his favour. Perry is going, and he's gone. Good restart by him. Another good restart by Kim Behait as well, who, again, is on slightly newer rubber than Tim Perry, but not as new as the drivers behind him, including Sergio Hernandez. The top 4 have already broken away, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of battling further behind. The Simracersworld esports cars of Bod Boland and Matteo Sufi going side by side. They were on for potential race victory. They've got new tyres, as has most of the field, as we mentioned before. Tim Perry has still got the lead, and Sergio Hernandez is into second place now. Ian Roots all the way at the back here, fighting with Steve Clays. And I tell you what, these two drivers have already gotten away. And I think Tim Perry will probably be looking at his rearview mirrors, cursing the fact that he didn't come into the pits. Because as we've got 9 minutes and 40 seconds left, he's got Sergio Hernandez on, who has got 30 lap newer tyres.
Yellow flag, another caution, another caution.
Well, the problem with Tim Perry's got now is the fact that if he dives into the pits under this caution, he'll be right at the back of the field. And that's John Tusting involved with the 65 car.
Let's see what happens here to John Tusting in the Quantum, the 999 machine. And if he were German, that's exactly what he'd be saying right now. Oh, he gets a touch from the 67, spins him around. Let's see if he collects anyone else that looks dangerous for Jochen Lennartz in the 65. unlucky. No space there as he gets squeezed in by the sliding car. And here at full speed, yeah, he just gets... That's a good old... That's an NYPD pit move if ever I've seen it.
Yeah, I think John will be tusting in his car right now if he'll... against a few of the other drivers, and looks like it was Fernando Lopez in Ramon's oval Spain car that was the incident he had. And luckily for Ramon, he kept going, but unluckily for John Tusting, he was the unfortunate party who ended up getting turned around. Nothing he could do, he didn't do anything wrong. We've seen a couple of times drivers coming across the inside. I don't think you could claim that one there. It was just a coming together that John wasn't able to stop.
Yeah, nothing really to do for John Tusting in that situation, and that is the life being at the rear end of the field. It's a dangerous place to be. Now, mind you, this is going to be an interesting situation. We're down to 3 minutes now, Jacko, so we could be onto a white-green or a green-white checkered sort of situation, although I do believe we will get back to actual green flag running before the timer runs out. It's in 2.5 minutes, by the way. So we're getting close. We're getting very, very close indeed. And it's really heating up at the spicy end of affairs. Leading the bunch, still Tim Perry. But with dangerous company there from Sergio Hernandez, the leading reigning champ. Well, not the leading driver, because no one's yet to score a point in this opening round of this second season of Simracersworld Dynamixx NASCAR Series action. But he's in a prime position here, Hernandez, it has to be said, on fresh rubber compared to Tim Perry. Paul Gosling in a relatively good position, hoping to pick up something for Quantum. Now that John Tusting was unlucky, to say the least. Maddie Sufi's there in fourth at the moment. Kim Behade for Flemish in the 86 car. And then Frederick van Eekhoven and Bud Boland in 7th. Adam Wright, Johan Osorio, and Greg Franks rounding up the top 10.
Yeah, Paul Gosling's been a bit up and down, hasn't he, this race? But he's found himself in 3rd place on the what will probably be the final lap or two, which is really good for him. And as he said, I'm a bit confused still on Tim Perry not coming into that pit earlier. He's now on tyres that will be bordering on 35 laps old, which is ridiculous when you compare Sergio Hernandez's, I don't know, 3 or 4 laps old, and 2 or 3 of those laps have been in the caution period. But it's a very interesting one. If Tim Perry does, if it is a situation where we go green, white, and checkered, maybe Tim Perry will be able to hold on, and it'll be a masterclass, people will be saying. But I think Sergio Hernandez, if he gets even a lap, not even half a lap, I think he'll be really piling the pressure on. Tim Perry's restart needs to be bang on point. It has been all night. He needs to do it yet again. It's most important time that he needs to do it now. Surprise Sergio Hernandez. Throw something that he's not expecting in there to try and just get it over on him, because he hasn't got the grip compared to his competitor.
Very true indeed. Now, Anthony Pan tells us it's an hour 35, which I have to say,
I think that 35, I think the extra 5, though, was including the start as well, so the warm-up lap. So I'm not entirely sure. I think we've got 2 minutes left on the overall elapsed time on timer on iRacing, so we'll try and keep up to date with it, but it's a bit hard to gauge at the moment.
Indeed it is. Anyway, we're on the back straight now, which means next time around we're going to come in. We're going to take it lap by lap more or less here and see what happens at times. It's not easy to call on what decision will be taken. And have us excused for any small difficulties with getting our new overlay to show us exactly the info that we need in the situation right at the moment. Of course, it doesn't have the same versatility of the timing tower. But then on the other side, it's stylish. It's very stylish indeed. And another stylish thing has been the drive of both Tim Perry and Sergio Hernandez. And it's time to settle the score. As we can see, indeed, with the timer up here, 8 laps and 4 minutes, 10 seconds. So it is actually true, Tim. Very nice call, and nice to see that we have the timer up there as well under green flag. That's absolutely beautiful. 4 minutes of racing remaining, and it's going to be Sergio Hernandez going for it very early on here. He tries to challenge. Tim Perry knows that if he gives this up, there's probably not going to be a lot to do, but he'll try to just settle in and see if he can just keep in the slipstream. Maybe for a late lunch. Oh, is there a problem there up there? That is, I think that's, oh, Matty Sufi in the 64 alongside the Quantum car going very slowly. Oh, there's a problem in behind.
Matthew Sufi.
Sufi has gone around, and there's another yellow flag period. Oh,
yeah, that's not good at all, is it? He's just going to the side, and I believe that's potentially Van Uytven.
Well, that's a slight touch from Bart de Vos on the inside right there. As you see from the 6 car. And then Van Uytven in the 284 is correctly so, that one being collected. And, oh, I'm afraid John Tusting, is he going to get around? Yes, he is on the inside. And lucky, to say the least, that was closer than close. I think the rest
Tell you what,
of
he
the
almost
field...
styled it out.
And you can see there is the contact, light contact, but it doesn't take much more than that to get it all wrong here. And Bart de Vos showing so much promise, but really not the best of luck, to say the least. And with that, 6 laps to go here as we're under caution. And that turns to 5 now. Jacko, do you think we'll be running out of laps before we run out of time? I reckon we'll be running out of time here, and we will most probably. That's going to be hard to judge now. 2 minutes, and question if are we going to be looking at a green-white checkered, or will there be 2 laps to run?
I think we're all hoping for a green-white checkered at least. I don't want to finish under safety car conditions, as one of the cars there looks like he's going to try and, I think that was Manolo Rock, trying to unlap himself on the lucky dog. But I think we're all hoping that we'll get a little bit of racing before the time ends. But Sergio Hernandez getting through into the lead is crucial, really. He's on really nice fresh rubber. Tim Perry, as soon as he sort of lost the undercut potential, he was really sitting duck, and I think Frederik van Eekhoven and Adam Wright out of, I don't want to say nowhere because I haven't been tracking him very closely, but the team down undercars, normally it's Frederik van Eekhoven and the likes of Kenzie Neuhoff, and Adam Wright tends to have a bit worse luck, shall we say, a bit further down. He's in 4th place at the moment, so it'd be great to see him on the podium potentially. Gregory Vansk as well up there in the rounding up the top 5. Kimber Hates for the Flemish Simsport guys, and I always bring it up, but the original sort of tester for Simracersworld, the feeler that we put out there was a Daytona 500 race, which is brilliant to watch. Really came down to the wire. But the Flemish Simsport guys were really very dominant in that event. Obviously, a few other people decided they enjoyed it and wanted to practice a little bit more, but the Flemish Simsport guys were really on point with their NASCAR and oval racing. And it's a little bit surprising that they haven't shown as much pace and dominance tonight. They've probably been mixed up in a few other incidents. Hendrik de Grave, I know, has been mixed up in a hell of a lot of incidents. But Kimber Haight is currently in 6th place, flying the flag for the Flemish Simsport guys and doing it really rather well as well. He gained 22 positions so far.
Yeah, indeed. So timer has now run out, and we're past an hour and 35 minutes. The lights are still on the pace car, so the question is this going to be the last lap, which means that we will not go to green flag, or just how is it going to be? Even Anton Dupin doesn't know, but that wasn't it, so we might just, we might just go and get it. I'm not quite sure. Lights are off.
Well, it'll only be an added minute, won't it? 2 laps of full running is 29-second lap. So with any luck, we may well get it, but we have finished under pace car conditions before when the timer ran out. Whether or not they've changed the settings so that doesn't happen, we'll have to wait and see, I suppose, for about about the next minute.
Yeah, indeed, but it does. Yeah, we're gonna see. I think Dupin is right. I think we are gonna see the end of it once the pace car peels off, and they will just accelerate across the line. And I don't think they'll be able to really gain or lose positions. But you know what? I'm not gonna be the one to call it either.
We got our fingers crossed, haven't we, that we may be able to see some racing, but Anton may well be right at the moment. Sergio Hernandez in the lead of the race, and as they're starting to come across the line, Hernandez does go. He does say green flag.
Oh, there's the checkered. There's the checkered. And checkered flag is indeed upon us, and a rather anticlimactic win for Sergio Hernandez, though the race was really good indeed. Tim Perry gets second, as far as I can see, or are we still running? Frederick Van Eekhoven.
No, we have finished.
We are
Checkered
finished
flag has
indeed. Van Eekhoven indeed third, yeah. Adam Wright fourth. Greg Franks in fifth, then Kim Behade. Johan Osorio on his debut for Ramones into the top 10. Nice indeed for them in seventh. Then Bart DeFuss in eighth, Bart Boland ninth, and Fernando Lopez Vinales again. Two Ramones car within the top 10, or cars, if you will, within the top 10. So that is a nice one. But another win for our reigning champion Sergio Hernandez. And what a great way to kick off his championship defense here at the Texas Motor Speedway, Checo.
Yeah, no, it's, as I said, it's a slightly anticlimactic way of finishing the evening, but it's probably not the result that was undeserved. Tim Perry drove brilliantly, but we'll have a bit of a recap of the event as we go through the evening and into the interviews. But it was Sergio Hernandez who was confirmed the victor over Tim Perry, who led the race for probably about 70 or 80% of it, but with a bit of a botched strategy. Unfortunately meant he dropped down to second. Frederick Van Eekhoven was in third place with Adam Wright in fourth. Gregory Vansk is in fifth, and in sixth, Kim Behate. Johan Osorio in seventh place with Bart DeVos in eighth, Bob Boland in ninth, and Fernando Lopez Vinales in top 10. Paul Gosling was 11th, Steve Clays 12th, Ian Roots in 13th, Ran van Oiven in 14th, Ali Sejas in 15th place, John Tusting in 16th, Van den Berg is in 17th place, Stuart Musselwhite in 18th, 19th was Matteo Sufi in the end, 20th was Manolo Rock, 21st, Stephen De Wolf. So I'm just waiting for that to catch up. Hendrik de Grave in 22nd with Johan Lennertz in 23rd. 24th with Kenzie Newhoff. And John Barnes not striking up top for Liverpool. He's retired into esports by the looks of it, and he's in 25th place. Lucas de Belder in 26th. Philip Russell in 27th. Leaving up the Beek in 28th. With Jurgen van der... Sorry, I keep having to switch to the other timing screen. Van der Perre in 29th, 30th was Ryan Walker, Robert Lundgren in 31st, Peter Jan Claytons in 22nd, Kurt Van Honecker in 33rd, and 34th was Fredericks at 83 laps down in the end. So a hell of a lot of drivers not making it through the first 50 laps, really. And it's unfortunate to see that sort of thing, because obviously we always like to see close racing right to the end for everyone.
Yeah, indeed we do, and it was... however, super exciting to be back, bringing you some NASCAR action here on a Monday night. I have indeed been missing it for the last month. Sergio Hernandez, really the man of the day. But that drive late in the race, 20th place, and then managing to win it in the end. Anyways, Kim Behate, 32nd place to 6th as well. Certainly not a bad performance either. And just about now, well, we might as well just have to get used to this, because he seems to have grown accustomed to it. He's grown accustomed to winning, and now he's here to talk to Jacko again for a bit of an interview. It's Sergio Hernandez.
Yeah, welcome back, Sergio. You started the year, or you started the series as you mean to go on, really, with that defense of the championship. It was a hard fought with Tim Perry, but you must be very pleased with the victory in the end.
Hello all. Thank you very much. I think today has been a happy day for me.
Well, I assume so, yeah. Coming out with a race win, must be pretty happy. Talk us through that sort of battle with Tim Perry, because he's really stepped up his game, hasn't he? He's a lot faster than we were expecting, potentially, and he's really sort of pushed you to the limits.
Yeah, Tim had a very good pace. I was trying to manage this pace, not going too hard on the start of the sprint and trying to manage tires. That's why I has been managing the situation all the race. Finally, I saw that the stint was going about 20-30 laps. So I tried to pass him, trying to maintain the first position. And then I don't know what I did in the pit stop. I made a speeding, dropped to the end. And well, I didn't think that I was going to have an option to almost win the race. But well, I'm here.
You are indeed here, yeah. So talk us through a little bit about why you dropped down the order. Did you say there was a penalty from the pit lane infringement or something? What happened there? Because you dropped all the way down to 22nd place.
Yeah, I made a speeding on the entry. And that's why I have the dot to the end. And basically, it was that.
Oh, I mean, it made for an amazing spectacle, it has to be said. And obviously, were you surprised right at the end when you came into the pits and Tim Perry decided not to pit in, which meant you had the fresher rubber for the last 20 laps? Were you surprised by Tim's decision?
I think a bit, because there was, I think, 15 laps until the end, and I don't know. I prefer to change tires, go with new ones, and I think I prefer that. He finally finished second, so it's good for him. And I thought that I was not going to be able to pass him because the time limitation, but finally I was able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, and do what you did very well as well. But we're going to let you go, Sergio, to enjoy the victory. But before you do, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, to my team and all the viewers and all the organization for doing that.
Absolutely. Well done, Sergio. We'll let you go. And I believe, Hasse, we've got one or two drivers as well for you to interview. I'm going to have to shoot off because apparently my dog has been throwing up downstairs over the past 10 minutes and keeps eating it again. So I'll save you any more grotesque details, but I am going to have to shoot off, Hasse. I'm really sorry. Well done to everybody who was participating. Thank you, everybody who's watching. I'll leave you in Hasse's hands for the final couple of interviews.
And luckily, they should be capable now, thanks to Sergio for joining us for a winner's talk. And I will have a talk with a guy who did a very good job as well, Tim Perry. Welcome to the booth. Second place today. A little bit of a surprise decision to not pit in late when Sergio did. Were you expecting the tires to just last the entirety of the distance, or were you maybe counting on there to be another caution period?
Yeah, I mean, I was really hoping that a few more people would stay out, to be honest. I was hoping that kind of like perhaps from 10th place backwards would stay out. So there'd be more kind of people between me and Sergio. But yeah, when I saw him start in P5, I knew that it was pretty much game over, really. Obviously, the cautions helped a bit, but I think it was inevitable, really.
And a very good qualifying session for yourself today. So we're expecting this kind of race pace as well?
Yeah, well, I thought this track seemed to suit me for some reason. Just the times were always quite good. And yeah, I think the tracks where it's kind of quite simple. You just put your foot down and drive with the wheel kind of suit me better than the ones where you have to kind of brake a bit more. But yeah, it's kind of annoying because I thought I had the pace to actually win today, but yeah, it just didn't quite pan out in the race itself.
And a nice perspective for the season to come, opening with a podium place like this. Congratulations on a very good result indeed. And before I let you off the hook here, is there anyone you'd like to give a thank or a shout out to?
Yeah, just the boosted lot for basically opening my eyes to this, really. So my teammate Rob, he was the one who suggested that we did this. So yeah, thanks to him for getting me on here, basically.
Well, sweet. I'll be sure to let Rob know if he isn't watching along. And congratulations on a very strong race there, Tim. It was a pleasure to see you. And we hope to have you back in the booth for another interview soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Cheers for that.
Cheers. So that was Tim Perry, second place finisher. And I'm going to have one more driver to talk to. He didn't finish on the podium, but he might as well, because he went from 32nd place to 6th in the race, if I'm very much not mistaken. It's Kim Behate. Kim, welcome to the booth, and thanks for joining us for a quick post-race chat. A chaotic race out there today, especially down in the mid-pack. How did you see things?
Hi, Hasse. Yeah, quite chaotic. How did I see things? Very, very strange. So we had quite a lot of bad luck. I had a bad finish. Didn't quite put the lap in that I wanted. So I was afraid I was going to be amongst the chaos. And so it did. So at the beginning, I was involved in an accident quite early. I had to use the fast repair at the beginning of the race. And I think I lost a lot of weight from all the sweating that I did during the entire race. Quite exciting.
Yeah, indeed. And from the chaos here, we're going to Talladega next week, the fastest speedway in America, as it's known. We're expecting to see some truly amazing stuff. And the racing will be a little bit different. And a lot of people will probably be expecting it to be even closer. But what are your expectations coming into Dega?
Well, the super speedways are always, I think, dangerous for chaos. I don't know what to expect. I hope it will be a cleaner race than this one, with more green flag racing. But we'll have to wait and see, I think.
And will you be doing any kind of team practice within Flemish Sim Sports in order to get the bump drafts completely right for the Super Speedway?
Well, this season I'm running the official Class A season for practice for the league. We also practice together, Hendrik and I. We try to do the best we can, and hopefully next week Hendrik will have some more luck too, and we'll be up there in the top 10 hopefully.
Well, indeed, luck is indeed needed, and we hope it's with you for next week, both for you and Hendrik. Indeed, Kim, thanks for joining us for a post-race talk. And before I let you off the hook, is there anyone you'd like to give a thank or a shout out to?
Anton Dupont. I would give a thanks to him. He's been spotting for us during the race and giving some inside info about the cautions that came out. So special thanks to Anton.
Indeed, and always a thanks from us here in the booth to the always knowledgeable Anton Dupont, who's, let's say, if not always, then at least often with us in chat as well. Anyway, Kim, thanks for joining us here, and I'll hope to get the chance to talk to you again soon.
Very good evening.
So that was Kim Behate, and our last interviewee for tonight. That is going to be the conclusion of our broadcast for tonight from me, myself, Hasse Rømer, and Jack Oliphant as well in the booth here. It's been a great pleasure having you along for the opening round of the Simracersworld Dynamixx NASCAR Series here from the Texas Motor Speedway. Do join us in a week's time when we will be back for more racing, oval racing, super speedway action from Talladega, which is going to be absolutely great. If you enjoyed the show and the puny, bad, questionable puns and jokes, leave us a like and subscribe for more of the same. Trust me, will be plenty of questionable puns to come as well. Anyway, thanks for joining in with us on such a dark Monday night indeed. And until next time, take care, have fun, and bye-bye.